Welcome to the Vocal Lab podcast with your hosts Shelby Rollins and Jason Catrone, bringing you the best from the music industry. Get ready for first-class conversations packed with exclusive techniques and transformative insights, all designed to help you reach your top note. Hello, Shelby.
Hello, Jason.
Have you ever been to a festival? I'm right out the gate.
You are. CMA Fest. It's actually taking place as we speak right here in Nashville.
That's right. That's
this week.
That's a festival.
It technically is a festival, but it's not the festival like out there in the fields. Like
you're not out there for 3 days slumming it, camping.
No, I have no desire to do that, if I'm honest. I am not a camping kind of girl. I will glamp. So I need air conditioning. I want a bed to sleep on. I don't believe that I was meant to sleep on the ground.
I can't sleep when I'm really hot.
Oh, I'm the worst for that.
And
I think it's perimenopause, but I've
like
always
hot.
been this way. Yeah.
Right?
They're usually this time of year.
I guess it makes
sense.
outside. Who would go to like a polar bear festival? They probably have one somewhere.
Like I see pictures of festivals and I think, ew, where do you pee? Where do you wash your face? Where do you have any privacy? You're around people all the time. It looks hot. How do you sleep? What is happening? Do you have to stay drunk the entire time just to numb out the pain of
or on drugs.
Modern inconveniences?
Here's what where I go when I think about all that too, because I think those same things.
I want to go to my bed in my house.
Well, that's where I'm going with this.
Okay.
I think about all those people having sex out there.
Oh my gosh.
And it's like, bleh. I mean, there's some, you want to talk about some smelly smells and some skanky stanks.
I don't want to talk about that on this podcast.
It's like,
I don't want to talk about that.
I don't get it.
Some children might listen to this. Okay,
well,
but festivals, they strike me as gross, if I'm being really, really honest and bougie. But not all of them are probably that way. That's probably a little bit of a stereotype.
Yeah, what about a festival in Napa at a vineyard?
What kind of festival is happening in Napa at a vineyard?
They have one, right? Isn't it?
There's like Renaissance festivals.
They have
right?
Have you ever been to a Renaissance festival?
No, I've been to. There was something in Nashville once that was.
It's here every year, the Renaissance Fair. Festival.
Maybe I did for like
they travel around. All those people travel around.
I think it was somewhere like Centennial Park or.
No, it's at
the.
We have the Renaissance Festival at the castle down in Franklin.
No, it wasn't there. Somewhere in like Centennial Park or something.
Oh, you probably went to that one where those people get out there and stab each other with the fake swords and things. What's that called?
LARP?
LARP. Was it a LARP festival?
You know what that means?
All I know is people were walking around in some of those outfits.
Yeah, that's what you saw.
I was not.
You saw, they LARP.
You know what I have
been
to that was also very enjoyable? What? This is the kind of festival that I could enjoy, was a food and wine festival.
Yeah, that's a good one.
But we're talking about music festivals specifically, like Woodstock. Remember that? I mean, we weren't live, but
Bonnaroo.
That's kind of Bonnaroo. I mean, that's still around.
Yeah, Lollapalooza.
Yeah. Thank you for saying it so weird. Why do they have weird names like this?
I don't know.
Woodstock, Lollapalooza, Bonnaroo. Where did they come up? Where did these names come from?
I don't know. Coachella. That's the Coachella Valley.
Oh.
I don't know where Lollapalooza came from.
You could invite me with like a VIP pass
and helicopter in and out
and like an air-conditioned tent, and I still probably don't want to go.
Well, they do have those.
Well,
they have. I know, like good. Coachella has luxury yurts.
A yurt? What's a yurt?
You don't know what a yurt is?
Maybe. Is that a tent?
Yeah.
A lean-to?
Well, you're learning so much today.
I am.
A yurt is like those Mongolian tents. They're round. They're quite spacious.
Okay. But
and some of those rent for like $25,000 a night.
Well, maybe I would stay in the yurt.
For $25K a night,
if it's that expensive. Well, like I said, I can glamp, right? But I'm not going to camp. So anyway, back to the conversation.
Yeah, the whole festival thing has been really fascinating because while we're on this specific topic, over the past few years, making money in music has been very dependent upon the live show. And so we've had, let's just say, a decade-ish of live touring where we have these big concerts. So you go to Beyonce, you go to Taylor, you go to whatever, right? And through all that too, especially in the summers, you would have the festival circuit, right? So they would get off the tours, they go pop in, do some festivals here and there.
Yeah, people like it because you can see a ton of artists all at once.
Exactly.
Right.
And then, you had, I think maybe country started this, where you had the multiple artist lineup. So you would have
There's tons of festivals now.
2 or 3 of your big country artists would get together to do a few shows. So what's happening now, as I read recently, is that we're moving to the actual festival circuits are a little in a trial period of like, they may go away, a lot of them, right? Some of the big ones will stick around for sure because their numbers have been dwindling and they're not making as much money and the cost has gone up to produce them. So what we're going to see, what this article was saying, I don't know if it was in Billboard, whatever. We're going to see more of these, like, kind of like CMA Fest, where you have a weekend at a stadium and there's just a lot of artists there.
Yeah.
Right? And so it's not a true festival as much as it's just a multi-artist lineup at a stadium. And you're seeing your big artists, instead of touring, you know, doing one or two nights in a city for 50 cities, they're going to do 8 cities, 8 shows in a city.
Oh, yeah. Almost like a mini residency.
That's what they are, because it's a way for major artists to really double down on the profit they can make. The unfortunate thing I see in that is you're putting the bigger burden on your fans to come to you.
Yeah.
And if I may, I read a few years ago during COVID times, specifically, this is probably 2 or 3 years ago that I read this, and this was just on like an Instagram meme. Do you know the number one debt? Well, let's say, do you know the top 2 areas of debt outside of higher education for like younger millennials and Gen Z?
Entertainment.
We'll be more specific.
Like buying tickets to shows.
Festivals specifically, right? But yes, we can throw all concerts in there. I don't know,
like food and drink.
Going to concerts and buying luxury brands.
Luxury brands, really?
Well, yeah. I mean, think about the sneakers.
Right.
The number of people you see with a YSL sweatshirt on that costs $800, and you're like, you can't even afford to go to Taco Bell.
Right.
That's if you zone in, you'll see it. The bags, the wallets, yeah. It's the number one. Those 2 specifically, they were saying the biggest forms of credit card debt is what it said.
Gotcha.
Going to live events like concerts and festivals specifically, and luxury brands.
I have heard that,
and the majority live at home with their parents, so it's like it's a big problem.
Yeah, I mean, there's a level of fiscal responsibility that needs to start taking place. But I did recently read that while young people are not like going out as much anymore and spending money
drinking specifically,
drinking and just like going out to eat, they're spending a crap ton of money on concert tickets still. Like, won't bat an eye, like, here's $300.
Totally.
For the nosebleeds of U2 or something like that, you know, and like obviously because ticket sales are so expensive for big names.
Yeah, I don't think the kids are going to see U2.
Well, okay. I mean, who should I say? Who do the kids go see?
Charlie XCX.
Yes, that girl.
Sabrina.
Sabrina.
Billie
Eilish.
Eilish.
Yeah. Okay. Well, in the spirit of this conversation, there's some very strange stories, as you can only imagine. It's like, I remember going to a water park. Have y'all ever been to the Great Wolf Lodge? You know what
no, but I've heard about it. It's like a chain, right?
Yeah, so it's like a hotel, and the inside of the hotel is this massive water park. And so part of the whole
it's like from the
experience
Midwest, right? Where it's cold a lot.
Probably. Yeah. I went to one in Texas.
We're getting one.
Oh, I heard about this.
It's like a Dixon, I think.
Really? So I went to the Great Wolf Lodge. I was very pregnant with...
Side note, would you rather live in Dixon or Murfreesboro?
I don't know. Which one is... Which one is further away? I know. Which one is further away from the nucleus of town? I'm not sure.
Oh, Dixon.
Dixon would be? Then probably Murfreesboro. Anyway, I went to the Great Wolf Lodge with my family. We took our kids, and this was before Brooks was born, my youngest, but I was pregnant with him.
Where did you go? You said Pennsylvania?
No, it was in Texas.
Oh, Texas.
I think it was outside of Dallas. Whatever one is closest to Dallas. Anyway, so I couldn't go on all of the fun rides because I was very pregnant, and they were like, no, you can't get on this. Look at you. And so I would have to just sort of sit behind on some of the rides.
They have rides?
Oh, yeah.
Excuse me.
But some of them are like really big slides, like water slides, but you're on a raft, or like, but some of them
they
are
have like a log flume?
You shouldn't. No, probably
Lazy
not.
River?
But those massive water, yes, they have those.
Oh, I love
those
me a lazy
massive
river.
like water slides where you sort of look like you're going down a drain in the middle of it, and then you shoot on out. Anyway, I couldn't do some of them; they wouldn't let me, and so which was a bummer because actually my thrill-seeking side comes out in theme parks. So anyway, Tanner's taking these kids, and I'm just sitting there like, wow. Look at all the people watching. Because in a water park especially, everybody's dressed scantily. You see all sorts of questionable tattoo choices on full display.
Do.
And it's just really interesting people watching because it is a big melting pot of people that come to water parks. So my point in saying this is, can you imagine the stories and the visual and life experiences that you have at a festival? Because festivals, at least the bar of entry is a little bit lower in terms of ticket sales, ticket price, because it's it's not like it's cheap, but it's not $300 to see Sabrina Carpenter. It's, I don't know, what is your going rate for a ticket to Coachella?
I think it starts at $600.
Oh, dear God. That's, okay. Well, then erase the statement I just made. Clearly, I don't go to festivals.
Yeah, I think the
point in saying
lowest band starts at $600.
Wow. Another reason I haven't gone. So, but you go and you get all people from all walks of life, right?
Yeah.
And you're seeing all sorts of things. Plus, you mix in drugs and alcohol, and now it's even getting more interesting.
Yeah.
Crazy and weird. And so the people watching, the stories, the things that come out of that, bananas. So
still lots of tattoos, though.
Lots of tattoos.
Still lots of.
I bet people are getting tattoos there.
Oh, for sure. Still lots of less clothes, especially as the festival goes on.
Yes.
You know what I don't?
Hot.
Before we go into that, what you're saying real quick, I got to tell you this real quick. You know why I do not like a pro to a water park over a theme park is, at least at the water park, you don't smell the people like you do at the theme park.
Not as much. You smell a lot of chlorine.
Yeah, but that's better than that stanky stank of those people in front of you that's been there all day, and it's like, because you get real close in those little lines.
You do, and it's hot.
You queue up.
I actually love theme parks.
See, I don't like either of them. Now I'll have fun, I'll go, but I don't love them. I also don't like the fact at a water park, a con is rashes. Like, you can get a foot rash real easy because everyone's just walking around barefoot. And half those people got rashes of some sort. Athlete's feet, something.
All sorts of things getting
warts,
passed around.
like things. Yeah. And then, the longer
that's why the chlorine levels are so high.
Totally. But the longer you're at the theme park or the water park, the more likely you are to get a little rash yourself just from chafing, walking.
Uh-huh. I'm glad we talked about this. Okay, so we found some really interesting stories.
I've been waiting for an episode where I could bring in chafing.
Well, earlier today you were really complaining about your sock. So did you get that resolved?
Yeah,
chafing
that's resolved.
Of your foot?
Yeah.
Your foot chafing from your sock problem?
That's resolved.
Okay, so
we're going to go to Coachella 2025.
2025 Coachella.
And we are going to zero in on some interesting stories that happen in the event of a festival weekend.
This first one is probably reason number one I don't want to go.
Lay it out there.
There was a 12-hour traffic jam of doom where thousands of campers trying to enter Coachella grounds were met with gridlock traffic lasting up to 12 hours.
That happens. Even here at the Bonnaroo, there's always that backup of traffic on I-24.
Yeah, and I think about that.
They've gotten better over the years.
Where do they park? How far? Is it like
fields.
a 4-mile walk from the car to the stage that they're going to watch?
I mean, that's far.
Pack light. Wear your
probably
walking
have
shoes.
buses to shuttle.
And then you see these outfits that especially girls are wearing, and I'm like, that does not look comfortable for that 4-mile walk. But okay. Desert sun blazing, no access to water or restrooms. It turned into a test of patience and survival. One fan said it was like Fyre Festival, but in cars instead of tents, which I actually don't know what Fyre Festival is.
Oh my gosh, Shelby, we gotta educate.
I feel like maybe I've heard of that.
So
but
there's been
is that a bad
so
thing?
many documentaries on this thing. What year did that happen?
I don't get out much.
A few years ago, this guy who had been a shyster in other businesses has this big festival, and he partners with some major artists, right? Like, who was it? 50 Cent? No.
No.
Ja Rule. There's some big artists he partnered with. He kind of
Rule.
It was Ja Rule.
Billy McFarland and Ja Rule.
Yeah. So this guy, Billy McFarland, got this island in the Caribbean and sold
Fire Island.
So all these.
Heard of that.
No, Fire Island is where it's like the big gay circuit up
out of Jersey, off to New York.
Yeah.
That's what I've heard of.
That's a whole different podcast.
It's in the Bahamas. They were in the Bahamas.
Yeah, it's in the Bahamas.
Okay.
Great Exuma.
Yeah, what's the
Okay.
what's the festival you made me think?
Fyre Festival.
Fyre Festival.
Fyre Festival. You're like Fire Island, Fyre Festival. And he sold thousands of tickets, right? And the promo material was crazy. Like this was going to be like the festival. It's only like 2,000 or 3,000 people. The biggest artists. You're on this private island with these amazing like luxury tents and all this food and beverage. All this was included. I think it was like 10,000 a person.
Dang.
Everyone gets there and they're stranded. There's nothing. There's no running water. There's no toilets. There's no alcohol. There's no food. There's no shows.
Bottles of water are like held up at customs, and there's a really funny clip I'll show you about that.
And so like these
my
people were
gosh.
stranded there and they didn't get their money back. The guy had spent it all. He went to prison. But now he's back out. Now he's back out, and he just was going to do I'm saying Fire Island.
Festival.
Fyre Festival 2.0, but they just canned it, I think, like a week or two ago, I saw.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
How dumb are
No,
people?
now you have to go watch one of the documentaries.
Oh my gosh, did people die? That sounds dire.
I don't think anyone died, did they? People got sick and stuff, though.
Yeah, I don't think. Yeah, but there were medical emergencies.
Yeah,
for sure.
and they were stuck there on an island.
Without food or water. That's how people die.
Actually, I can play this clip, and I don't think it'll do anything for us on YouTube. So if you want to be aware of this clip from Fire Island, it's this might grant us an E in the episode, but whatever.
We had 4 containers filled, 4 18-wheeler trucks filled with Evian water. But I had left the week before for 2 days to go to meetings in Bermuda for the America's Cup. And when I came back, I missed the big meeting with Customs. And of course, Customs had said to Billy and the gang, you need to pay us $175,000 in cash today for us to release the water. I went down. Well, Billy called me. I'm going to speak completely, this won't go that far, I'm sure, but Billy called and said, Andy, we need you to take one big thing for the team. And I said, oh my gosh, I've been taking something for the team every day. He said, well, you're our wonderful gay leader, and we need you to go down. Will you
What does that have to do with anything?
suck to fix this water problem? And I said, Billy,
Oh,
I
that's
said,
what.
Andy, if you will go down and suck Cunningham, who's the head of Customs, and get him to clear all of the containers with water, you will save this festival. And I literally drove home, took a shower, I drank some mouthwash. I'm like, oh my gosh, and I got into my car to drive across the island to take one for the team. And I got to his office fully prepared to suck his but he couldn't have been nicer. And he's like, Andy, listen, I will release all the water. I will let you serve it, but I want to be one of the first people to be paid this import fee for what you're doing. And I said, okay, great. And I got back, and I had all the water that we needed. Can you imagine, in my 30 years of a career, that this is what I was going to do? I was going to do that, honestly, to save the festival.
No, Shelby, you got to watch this documentary.
I don't want to. I don't even want that to be on our podcast, what we just watched.
I'll bleep that out. I'll bleep out the words. But
Oh my gosh. Oh gosh. Ugh. See, again, why do we go to festivals? My heart is beating fast. I feel very comfortable. Very
fast their
uncomfortable.
hearts were beating from being in traffic for 12 hours. So, Jason, your turn.
Here we are, the $102 fast food haul. The festival goers shared their food receipt that blew up online. 2 tacos, order of nachos, 2 lemonades, all for a staggering $102.
I don't know. That kind of sounds like eating downtown Nashville.
$13 pizza slices, $30 chicken sliders. It was like buying concert food on Wall Street, one Redditor joked.
I mean, I feel like that needs to shock me more, but food has gotten outrageous.
Yeah, food's gotten outrageous. But again, think of yourself being, a 19-year-old college student who
They do that to
doesn't
you at
come
the
from a
airport,
lot of
though.
money.
They do you dirty at the airport. I was at the airport the other day, and I went to go get like a little snack, and I'm trying to find something healthy, and It's very difficult to find healthy food in the airport. But this little snack shop, because my options were limited, I found a bag of pistachios. I love pistachios. And I went to go grab, and it was one of those like really small snack-sized bags of pistachios. They were $10.
Are you kidding?
And I was like, no. I don't care how hungry I am. I'm not spending $10 on that dang bag of pistachios.
Do you want to know my pistachio hack
What is that?
for the airport?
What?
Well, first of all, go to the Sky Club and just eat whatever you want and have drinks.
Oh,
and
my
then
bad.
you're gonna love this. On first class Delta, they have the bigger bags of pistachios. So and they'll let you take as many as you want. So I always get like 3 or 4 and just keep them in my backpack.
But I don't fly first class on Delta,
There's
Jason.
your problem.
This is also why Jason doesn't go to festivals.
I'm
He's too
trying
busy
to-
hanging out in the Delta Sky Lounge.
I'm trying to help you be successful
Okay. Well, I
in
appreciate
your
that.
search for nuts.
Okay, I'm skipping around. Breakup
Okay,
bombshell. A woman from Austin planned the trip with her boyfriend until a stranger messaged her the night before Coachella to expose his cheating. With no ride and no friends going, she debated whether to go solo. Reddit rallied around her, and she ended up attending, calling it the most freeing That was not anything. That was not a thing. She broke up with her boyfriend and still went to Coachella.
Now, why is this a big deal?
Okay. I should have read all the way through before I read that out loud.
Number 3 answered your early question.
Tequila face wash. In a classic camping blunder, a tired attendee reached for an unmarked water bottle to wash their face, only to realize too late that it was full of tequila. The sting was real and the burn unforgettable.
Why do I put tequila in a water bottle?
Sneak it in.
Sneak it in. You've never done that?
Oh.
Because they want you to buy alcohol. But you can bring in water.
That's a classic.
You know what my
that's a
parents
classic
have
hack.
done? I'm outing my mom and dad here. Is they've gone on a cruise and they got a Listerine bottle and filled it up with rum and brought that on their cruise. And it was their rum. Because rum, and they like the gold rum or whatever. And it's the original Listerine color is that brown color.
Yeah.
The original flavor or whatever of Listerine. So they just got an original Listerine and filled it up with gold rum, brown
That's
rum.
a great
What do you call
hack.
it?
That's a great parent hack.
Parent?
Yeah, parent of,
Anyway, that's what they did on their cruise.
When
But,
I
yeah.
don't think they make brown Listerine anymore.
I don't know.
They do, but you know what I heard? I need to double check this because this is kind of weird. I heard that I think some ancient Romans used to use pee as mouthwash
They did.
because of the ammonia and whatever.
no.
But it made
Ew.
me think, why was the original Listerine that color?
Oh, that's probably why. No, to be fair,
Gross.
Shelby, you know this. Urine is a great disinfectant, sterile.
Right, yeah.
So
if
like
you
if
get
you're out,
stung by a jellyfish.
Pee
I
on
learned
it.
that on Friends.
or if you cut yourself out in
Pee on
the
yourself.
frontier, pee on the wound.
Yeah.
If you get an ear infection, put your urine in it.
Ah.
I didn't know about that.
Remember,
Ear
that's why
infections.
Patches O'Houlihan, which is my affectionate name for Jason because of the patches.
Oh, yeah.
He says, do I have to drink my pee? No, but it's sterile and I like the taste. From Dodgeball, sorry.
Ew. Yuck.
It's sterile and I like the taste.
Oh my
Gosh,
gosh.
this is crazy. What's this number 9? This looks interesting. Firework mishap in VIP during DJ Sarah Landry's high energy Do-Lab set. A firework launched sideways into the VIP section. Oh no.
Ew.
Causing screams and confusion. No injuries, but it rattled the crowd. One fan wrote, "I saw a guy drop his $25 smoothie and run like it was a war."
$25 smoothie. Oh man.
That's a good one right there.
I mean, I feel like the traffic jam one is the worst one. And that's before you even get inside.
Yeah. What's this hot dog vendor swarm? That one sounds interesting.
It wasn't. I read that one.
Number 4 was crazy. You want to read that?
Number 4. Tent tornado at 2 a.m. One camper recounted a sudden desert windstorm that ripped their tent from the ground and sent it sailing. They spent hours stumbling around in the dark, trying to recover poles and gear, while others screamed into the night, chasing their own airborne shelters. more reasons why we don't sleep in tents. I heard, I think it's Jim Gaffigan, some comedian making like a funny statement about like why he doesn't camp in tents and stuff like that. And he was like why? He's like, we, as, you know, beings that have, you know, evolved over the centuries, we have built homes so that we can sleep away from the animals, essentially, you know, and sleep as human civilized creatures inside. Why are we now trying to go back to sleeping outside or whatever? And I don't know, he said it really funny. I'm not saying it funny at all, but he was just basically like, we built houses to not have to do that anymore, so why are we doing? And I'm like, yes, that's exactly how I feel about this. Some people love camping.
He's kind of like, I've never
people.
understood those kinds of people. He's kind of like a modern day, is it Tim Keller? Isn't he? Is Tim Keller?
Jim Gaffigan? I don't think I'd put him and Tim Keller in the same category.
Isn't Tim Keller the guy that would read the... Who's the guy that...
Tim Keller has passed away. He was a great theologian, pastor, and author of like Christian books.
I don't know who that is. I just know that name. Okay, Tim Keller. No, who's the guy that did the Minnesota Roundup? It's not what it's called, but... Oh, what was the
I
weird...
don't know.
It's like the Opry, but he'd read stories. It's a really old...
Like a radio show?
Radio show.
I don't know.
Oh, gosh. What's that called? Carlos is on it.
Let's see.
Carlos is like our brain.
I know.
Sheesh. Oh, shit.
It was from Minnesota. I do know that. Prairie Home Companion. Google that.
Still don't know.
Prairie Home Companion. That's it. Carlos's computer not working?
I think ChatGPT is like what?
Garrison Keillor.
Keillor, yeah.
Garrison Keillor. That's close to Tim Keller.
Keller.
Garrison Keillor. He's kind of like a... I've noticed because I like to watch that CBS Sunday morning show, and they have him on there almost every weekend, and he does what you're doing. Like he does this little play on words and storytelling wrapped around something that's part of modern culture that may be reflective of past or into the future, and it's always titillizing to the ears, if you will, the way he puts it together.
Oh.
Yeah.
I feel like we're having a very one-sided conversation about festivals. And
We
now I
are.
kind of feel bad because, like, there's
No.
some people out there like, I love festivals. Actually, I know several people
Well, I mean,
who love going.
I think there's a lot of people that's why they're
and, you know,
successful.
are not necessarily partaking in all of the debauchery, but can go just to enjoy the music. I just don't want to do that.
Well, you know what? It's
But it has a place and a
because-
value.
Well, it does, and to be fair, you know, like it's more of a modern day escape for fans to kind
Yeah,
of just get away for
sure.
the weekend,
Yeah.
to go to a festival. Over the past 15 years, they've really gained in their prominence, you know. So that was kind of right after our
Yeah.
time of going to live shows in college
True.
and stuff. So
Yeah, I just think, excuse me, sorry.
wow, someone's over
So
this
bored
one.
with
Wow,
this
you're so bored.
I mean, and I was also talking about how I've not been sleeping well, and I'm like laying in bed, like wide awake, thinking, when did I have my last cup of coffee? Like, what time was that? Anyway, now I'm tired, but I have seen now so many small festivals. We were talking about this earlier that have popped up, and it's festival season currently. Like summertime is like festival season, May and whatever, June, and they're these smaller ones that pop up, and they're called like the Sunrise Festival or the, I don't even know. There's
We
so
have the
many
Pilgrimage
of them.
Festival here. Down in
Pilgrimage is a
Franklin.
bigger one.
That's a good one.
But smaller ones that'll still showcase like 50 artists. And there's always like the name at the top of the bill. That's the biggest font. You know, festival poster, they're kind of classic, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
they've got the colorful graphics, and then they have the biggest name, and then
It's
the
really
second
small.
biggest name or two that are underneath that, and then like another font that's a little bit smaller, it has like 10 names, and then the teeny font that has 100 names of like most of them people you haven't heard of. But what I do think is a value for that for artists is that it gives artists opportunities to go out there and play in front of an
100%.
audience.
Especially
who are
younger,
not there to see
newer
them.
artists, right?
Yeah, they have the opportunity to sort of like, if you will, open for these bigger names, even though they're not really opening. They're just getting to it's like a free stage to be able to perform in front of people who are there to see another artist that maybe you could follow in their footsteps, or you might share their fan base. And so I do think that that's a huge value. And those are not necessarily, there's like 1 or 2 days long. Well, I guess all of these are probably about 1 or 2 days long, right?
Yeah, or 3, depends.
Yeah, and I say all this about how I don't want to go to Bonnaroo or Coachella or whatever, because I'm too old. Okay, I'm too old for that energy, and I need to sleep in a bed because my back cannot handle camping. Okay, and if I don't sleep with like at least 68 degrees, I will be a disaster because my body gets way too hot. And I've had people tell me that if you want healthy hormones, you need to sleep when you need it to be cold. Okay, so I'm not making this up. So I don't want to sleep outside, and I'm not sorry, but I do think that there's a value in those types of opportunities. And I say all of this, and I'm going to go see one of my artists perform at CMA Fest this week.
Oh, there you go. Look at that.
And I'm probably going to bring my kids.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to have them with me.
I think most of the people at Coachella would tell you they have very healthy hormones. No,
We have raging hormones.
Yeah, right. You're right though. The festival phenomenon is actually really amazing, and to each their own, of course. But giving people the ability to, whether you're an artist and have an opportunity to perform in front of that many people with that many artists in a lineup with all the production, everything is amazing. For fans to be able to experience that many artists and see some of their favorite artists and meet new people. I know people make lifelong friends. They go to these festivals. And to each their own. I mean, people have been like doing, music and drugs and all the things since the beginning of time. So it's just a new iteration of what's always been.
Yeah.
And something will evolve out of what this currently is too.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see that.
It will.
And we were talking about this on a different episode, that alcohol sales have gone so far down, the current new generation of drinking aged people, like Gen Z or whatever.
Yeah.
And they're drinking the least amount of alcohol of any other previous generation in like history. And I think that's amazing. So Coachella, wasn't it? This Coachella, one thing we haven't said about it is that the alcohol sales were like way down.
Way down, yeah.
So I am imagining that there's quite a lot of drug usage that was happening.
Sure.
So I don't know that, everybody was stone cold sober.
You bet your money
around.
that's not happening.
But so I don't know if there was an even trade-off or what, but that is an interesting phenomenon that like there is less consumption of alcohol, less intoxication, at least by alcohol, happening. And I think that's positive. Nobody comes back from like some bender and has like a great story about there's something they're really proud of, like, I drank so much, I made such great life choices. Like that doesn't ever happen. So that's the thing I think I get concerned about with those types of festivals is like, keep your wits about you.
I think
don't make bad choices.
Yeah, that's probably why you should never go to a festival like those ones. You'll be fine at CMA Festival.
CMA Festival is different.
In and out, yeah. It's very family friendly. Yeah. Maybe you should start with like I don't know, stick with the Christian music festivals.
I wonder what those are like.
Well, we should probably.
I think I actually went to one when I was a kid. Third Day played.
Winter Jam?
Maybe it was that.
Winter Jam,
that's a big one.
Yeah. That's a big one.
I don't think where is that?
It moves around.
Oh, well, there was this one I went to in Florida, and I don't remember where now. But anyway.
Yeah.
Rock the Universe.
Oh, I remember that
Actually,
one.
I think...
Yeah.
Yeah, Christian music was one of the first genres to really dive deep into festivals.
Really?
Because just out of necessity, I think they could get a lot of artists together and get people there.
Yeah.
Because Christian artists early on didn't have money to tour.
Right.
Sure. There weren't a lot of opportunities for them. So it's like we could do these little... Yeah. So, little facts. Well, we should probably fact out of here. I don't know what that even means.
I don't know.
Get the fact out of here, Shelby. You're yawning and...
I feel like I already know what the screen grab of this episode is going to be.
Your face.
The thumbnail of me going.
It absolutely is.
We're going to have to bleep the bleep and bleep the bleep out of this one. I cannot with some of that. I was verklempt. Okay. Very uncomfortable.
That's the reality.
That is what's happening.
Happened.
That is what's happening out there in the real world, Shelby. Yep. Well, until next time, everyone. This was a Festivus
For the rest of us.
There we go. Thanks for tuning in to the Vocal Lab podcast. Ready to join the top ranks of the music industry? Don't forget to follow and subscribe for more first-class conversations that make the extraordinary your new ordinary. Until next time, keep striving for your top note.